Hi, I'm Brian James. I've come aware of the love of God for people, all people, and I've also been able to see Him work in the lives of numerous of those around me and even my own life. And so I wanted to just share with you some of those stories, and so I put together a video. And I hope that these videos encourage you as much as I was encouraged to have them to share. So, enjoy. So I'm in Africa, and I'm on this evangelism team. I'm one of the youth leaders, kind of making sure all these high school kids don't get eaten by anything or anybody. And when you think Africa, I'm talking like mud huts, grass roofs, like nothing kind of Africa, you know what I'm saying? And we were in the middle of nowhere in this little town, and we did our standard thing. The kids would set up and do their song and dance and draw a crowd because we're white, and most of those people haven't seen white people, I guess. And in this specific town, we did our thing, and nobody kind of wanted any prayer. They said everything's good. And so we were just about to leave when my head leader came up and he said, "Brian, we got someone to pray for." And I'm thinking, yeah, let's do it. And so I jump out of the back of the truck and I run back into the hut we were just in, and there's these three women and the three of us leaders, and the two of the women were talking on behalf of the youngest one, which was probably about my age, maybe 23 at the time. And they were speaking on her behalf because this lady was like stone deaf. I mean, she could hear you, but you had to be like this close to her and yelling in order for her to hear you. So obviously just easier if these two ladies spoke on her behalf. And they were telling us that this lady suffers from seizures 3 times a day. And it gets worse whenever there's a full moon out. And so my first question is, okay, well, have you been seeing a witch doctor? And she said, well, yeah. I said, okay, well, let's clear things up, right? You know, doctors are your friend, medicine is good for you, but if they have to pray to a God that hasn't made you, it's only going to make things worse. And so we cleared things up. We talked about Jesus, how He's the great physician and how He loves her and how, you know, by His wounds we've been healed, all that kind of stuff. And then we just said to her, you know, okay, we're going to pray. Your seizures are going to stop. But also, do you want to hear? And she said, well, yeah. I said, okay, well, do you have any more witchcraft stuff? And she said, yes, at my house. And so she took us just a couple of yards away down to her place, and the whole while down the dirt road, she's talking about how guilty she feels and how ashamed she is of all this stuff. And I'm just saying to her, like, no, like, God's love for you is deep, and He wants you, and He came down to the earth. Jesus died on the cross for you. You're the apple of His eye. You're His favorite kid, that kind of stuff. And just shared with her the gospel and really lifted her spirits. And finally we get to her house, and she runs around. She gathers up all of her witchcraft stuff, puts it in a newspaper bag, and then puts it outside of the little hut. And then we test her hearing. We have her face the wall, and I'm standing behind her, and she's got to repeat after me however many times I clap. And so I started really quiet, and then I got louder, and then I got louder, and then louder and louder and louder. And finally, I'm wailing, right, in order for this lady to hear me. So apparently she was very deaf. And so I said to everybody in the room, okay, we're going to pray for her, but if you have any doubt whatsoever, do not put your hand on her, because your doubt's only going to get in the way. And you can stay and you can watch, but if you have any doubt, just don't touch her. And that just raised the energy in the room, and everyone's like, oh, I tell you, they put their hand on her shoulder or her back or somewhere. And you know, I've never been in this situation before, and yet I felt like I knew exactly what to do. It's like I was straight out of the Bible, you know, like, this is what we're gonna do. And I put my hands over her ears, and we just said this really quick, simple prayer, and it wasn't asking for healing, it was thanking for healing. And we put my hands over her ears, and I just said, you know, God, thank you so much that we could see this gift today, that you would allow us to witness you working, and just stuff like that. And we commanded her hearing to be as sharp as anybody's, even sharper. And and then we tested her hearing again. And so we had her face the wall, and this time when I clapped, she repeats after me. And so I take like 2 or 3, maybe even 5 steps backwards. I'm on the other side of the little hut right now, and again I clap again, just really soft, and she repeats after me. Her hearing was so sharp, and everybody in that hut just went crazy, like, oh my God, what just happened? And it was like this party, and oh man, it was just, everyone was just, and she was crying, and so then we go outside of the hut, and we're taking this paper bag of witchcraft stuff, and we're lighting it on fire. I'm kneeling down beside this thing, and there's a tree beside us, and I can hear the birds. And so I asked through the translator, when was the last time you heard the birds? And she said, today's the first day.